We are here today because I made a video about censorship in fighting games.
Yeah.
And you left a comment and it was very popular. I would say it was the most popular, like substantive comment, like comment with something actually to say. Other comments that got more upvotes than you or more thumbs up were just saying like censorship bad. So I'm happy to have you here because you were the person.
No, yes. I'm very sorry to cut you, but I read some of the comment and then you just say censorship bad, no elaboration, no source.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a weak argument.
Yeah.
So I tried my best to give my part of the argument why I think it's bad.
Yeah. No, the thing is, like, when people say like censorship bad as well, they obviously don't agree with that because there is some censorship I'm sure they're okay with, like exploitation of children, just stuff like that. Like that's why if you like went down those threads, that's what I eventually brought it to, because it's just a stupid like virtue signal like thing to say. You don't even really believe that. You're just saying stuff. But yeah, your comment, I thought it was pretty good. Like once you said you were ready, I'm like, all right, I'm not even going to type a response. We're just going to talk about this. So thank you for coming today. Should I start out by, want me to just read it? Or I made some notes, like, some notes, my ideas. Do you want me to read it in its entirety first, or do you want me to just read a section, my response, read a section, my response?
Okay, I think it could be much easier for you to read a section, your response, read a section, your response. That way it got to flow more naturally. I think it would be much better like that.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to start. You started with, I see a double standard in censorship in video games. No one cares if a male character is half naked or only wear an underwear, for example. Urian, Gil, Zangief, and Dalsum. Sagat or Ryu. Sagat or Ryu when they have some like DLC costumes that are kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's simple.
Yep.
Yeah.
But the moment we see Cammy in her old costume, or Armika or Jury's feet, female characters who are more covered than characters like Zangief or Gil, I see people complaining about a character sexualization. And this is the part I wholeheartedly agree with. There's kind of a reason for this, and, kind of just like, there's a good reason, there's a better reason. So the real reason is, obviously, like, men and women's bodies aren't the same.
Yeah, that's true.
So, like, if you see, like, Ryu shirtless and Cammy shirtless, one of them's going to get you an age rating of adult, right?
Yes. Okay, yes. Okay, yes. So between Ryu and Cammy shirtless, that I perfectly agree. This I agree with that.
Okay, and then so like that kind of goes into the point that like there are more parts of a woman's body that we deem sexual just through our like socialization. So like a woman's breast, like however, like there's no like sexual reason for that, right? We just as a society say they need to be covered up. So like when we see stuff in video games where like, Armika's boob window or like, very like cleavage, we even think cleavage is like a sexual thing when it's really just a woman's chest in the shirt, right?
Yeah.
So,
that's right.
So like, there is a double standard because the body, our bodies are different. Obviously, like I said, shirtless and Ryu and shirtless Cammy are definitely going to be treated differently. One's definitely going to be official. Other one's maybe going to be a mod that, the TO forgets to turn off in tournament. And then there's a Twitter clip about it.
Yeah, I heard about that. That would be so embarrassing.
I don't know how you show your face after that. That's crazy.
No, that's just unacceptable.
Yeah. And I think like because of this reason, like, yes, Zangief is wearing less clothes than Cammy, but like what Cammy is wearing is sexualized because like, okay, Zangief is just wearing underwear, but Cammy's wearing a thong, if that makes sense. What she's wearing is just, even though like the total percentage of her body is like, let's say Cammy's covered 25% of her body, right? It's probably higher. Let's say Cammy's covered 50% of her body, and Zangief is covered 25% of his body.
25%, let's say. Okay.
Cammy is wearing, technically wearing more clothes, but she's more sexualized because the clothes show her private part. The clothes, more specifically, her butt. She's wearing a thong. So like, yes, one is more covered, but one is dressed in a way that's like over sexualized. Like,
okay, I see.
let's say like a woman. Let's say we have two female characters, right? A
Yeah,
woman in a coat and jeans, and a woman in a t-shirt and jeans. They're both pretty covered up. They
yeah,
both they're both normal dress, nothing crazy
yeah.
about them. Just because one's wearing something that's like has less coverage doesn't mean she's more sexualized. She's just wearing a t-shirt. Even though she's showing more skin, doesn't mean she's more sexualized. And now let's take the woman in a coat, right? And let's
Yeah.
say that we cut all of her, cut the top open, we cut, all of that stuff open and make it very awkward for viewers, right?
Mm-hmm.
She would be definitely more what we would consider over sexualized because she's wearing a coat, but she's, her stuff is all out. It's
Okay,
like,
I see.
you know what I mean? So like the more coverage thing, it's about like what
The
coverage
focus
is there.
it's like the focus something over there, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the way I never saw it that way because the way I saw, for example, Zangief and Camille's costume is like being outside on a beach. For example, people in bathing suit or swimming suit. That's how I see it.
Yeah. And you know
Yeah.
what? Who was it in Laura, right? Laura was in Street Fighter 5. She's
Yeah.
Sean's older sister. She's on a
Yes.
beach in Brazil. Her costume kind of
Yeah.
makes sense, right? It's literally just a bikini and she has like a little cardigan on top of it.
A fur coat. I forgot what it is exactly. Yeah, something like that.
So like that's what I would say that's like directly comparable to like a beach thing. And it's not even just about like what they're wearing. It's about like what they're doing and like camera angles too. So like in Street Fighter 6, for example, Cammy has her win pose is like on the ground and the camera's like pointed into her butt. Like,
Okay.
yes, parents bring their kids to the beach, but they aren't bringing their kids, placing them right in front of somebody wearing a thong and, pointing their eyes towards her butt.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a very good argument.
Same with Armika. Like I didn't see like I went and looked at the like WWE like divas. That's like what they call the women's wrestlers. I did see some
Oh, yeah.
pretty like, revealing ones, some bikini ones, but like I didn't see any of them that was wearing a thong. And on top of that,
Okay.
like you never see like maybe I haven't watched wrestling in a really long time, but you won't see like a wrestler do a butt slam with a thong on somebody's face, like Armika's Critical Art in Street Fighter 5. You know what I mean?
Okay, yes, that's true. But sometimes something like that happened in WWE in rare occasion. For example, both male or female wrestler putting their butt in their opponent, something like that. But it happened rarely
True.
in WWE.
And I think the thong is a big part of it too. So like if Zangief does it, he's got more coverage back there, right? He's got, a little bit more,
Yeah.
but Armika is
Yeah.
literally just wearing a thong. And the thing is too, like Cammy's wearing a leotard. Gymnasts wear leotards in real life. Although some, like I think it was Germany. Germany said they are like the girls Germany team said they didn't want to wear leotards anymore because they didn't want to be like sexualized by the audience, so they switched to full body suits. But like the leotards that gymnasts wear have more coverage. And like again with the camera thing, if gymnast has a wardrobe malfunction where she gets a wedgie or something, the camera's not going to zoom into it like it does on Street Fighter's Cammy's windscreen. But yeah, it seems like you're cooking.
Okay, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay, so yeah. So these are the picture of the diva in WWE.
Yeah.
Some of them are revealing clothes. So I guess so the way I see it is like the way I used to see before your argument is like Cammy and Armika are just similar to that. For example, some of them have cleavage, some of them have revealing clothes. See, so that's why I didn't really see a big deal with the Cammy's costume because that's how I saw things.
No, it makes sense. And also too, I meant to mention this at the start. our goal today is not to censor Street Fighter V because sexualization is bad and women should be covered up. That's not our goal today. Our goal is to find a perfect balance to cater to the most people who will buy Street Fighter V. Capcom hired us. What was that?
Just like Thanos for Marvel. They want to do a perfect balance in universe.
Exactly. So like, if we are censoring the game in a way, if we're censoring the game and all the players are going to leave, that's not accomplishing our goal. Our goal is the most players. And
so now I understand. So I guess while watching your video, I guess there's a misunderstanding because while I watched your video, it sounded like you wanted to ban everything and then you didn't care about most players. Okay, so that's a huge distinction.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe I was not fully paying attention. So it's possible that it's a mistake on my part for not being fully attention on your video. Maybe I missed that details.
Well, that's okay. Like I'm going to the thing is with this, like with PG mode, did you get my argument with PG mode? So like players who like children or women who are uncomfortable with these, explicit outfits can turn it off. What were your thoughts on that?
Yeah. So at the beginning, I was completely against that, and then I just remember something about this game. Where is it? Mortal Kombat 3 on the Sega Genesis. For example, back in the 90s, Mortal Kombat game on Sega, they was uncensored. On the Super Nintendo, they were censored.
Because they didn't have blood.
Yeah, but you can do a cheat code to play the game uncensored. I said, of course. So in that case, it makes sense. For example, is that like Mortal Kombat with blood? It's uncensored mode. And the Super Nintendo is PG mode, and then you can just turn it on and off whenever you can. By doing that, everyone is happy. That's what they did in the 90s. You can go to option and turn blood on and off. And then, if I remember, on the Mortal Kombat trilogy on the Nintendo 64, there was an option to use fatality to turn on and off fatality and brutality, if I remember correctly. So in this sense, and now I agree with your PG mode. That way, for people who might be uncomfortable playing Street Fighter for whatever reason, they can just use PG mode. They can just use PG mode, and the advantage is that now we can play online. For example, on the same match set. For example, in my end, I can see, just say, Zangief and Kami costume uncensored, but on your end, if you put PG mode, you can see Zangief and Kami wearing let's say,
we can say their default costumes.
Yeah, the default costume.
Yeah,
for
just
example,
because
like
they haven't come out with more. But like,
yeah,
I think someone had a really good example of this. I was thinking of actually, Nintendo didn't have blood, unless you did the cheat code. And then, first of all, just pit stop here. Based Sega for fighting for our rights, on that whole Mortal Kombat trial. First of all, I always think about that. I think I'm gonna make a video on that. But yeah, it's just like the opposite of mods. The thing is, on my Street Fighter 6 on PC, I could do whatever I want. I could already do PG mode, but the people on consoles can't do anything. They're just stuck with it. So that's why I thought. And the thing is, like, if I could do it on my own, of course, the actual developers will need to put a little bit of more work into it than me, because I get to decide what I see. When they are doing it, it's going to have to there's a lot of thinking. And like I said, there's a lot of double standard. Are you going to censor E Honda's sumo outfit? It's more challenging than you think. You know what I mean? And a lot of people in my comments were like, "Oh, if you censor this outfit, it's offensive, and that outfit's cultural." You know what I mean? So it's a lot of work on their side. So
so sumo wrestling with Honda, sumo wrestling is very, very big in Japan. So yeah,
exactly. and I was going to put a picture of him on the screen when I say it's more complicated than you think, but like definitely Oro's getting censored. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Oro's getting censored, Urian's getting censored, Gil's getting censored, but that's just me. And like you said earlier, like people see, if let's say there was no thong for Cammy, right? I do agree with you. People would still look at Cammy in underwear compared to Urian in underwear, and they'll still, point towards the woman, they'll still point towards Cammy because that's just a hot topic right now in gaming, that's just what it is. But I'm happy PG mode supporter. Your check is in the mail, for sure. That it'll be in Canadian dollars, not American dollars. So if it looks, if it looks high, that's why. Let me go into
it's more expensive in Canada. Trust me. Video game Canada. Oh, you have no idea how expensive.
No, I'm in Argentina right now, and it's their taxes are so high that games are about like, I'd say 40% more expensive here than compared to home. If there's no regional pricing, it's crazy. It is so bad. But let me get into the next part of your comment. You say, in my opinion, Street Fighter is okay the way it is because it's rated T for teens. It's not Smash that's rated E for everyone. In real life, pro wrestling, both males and females, wrestlers have revealing clothing, just like Armika, Cammy, and Zangief. We see a bunch of muscular men in underwear, and I don't see an issue with that. I feel like we kind of talked about that already.
Yeah.
All right. And it says, traditional fighting games like Street Fighter will never have the mass appeal of games like Fortnite because of the difficulty of the genre. Moves, execution, combo execution, etc., and that's okay. So I agree with this, and I don't agree with this at the same time. So somebody like used a phrase in my comments, and I think I'm definitely going to steal it from them. And I'm using it a little different, I think, but they say perceived difficulty. So like, I don't think that doing a fireball is necessarily inherently more difficult than being in a build battle and playing Fortnite. I think these are both hard things to do. But the thing is, here's what this is going to be my entire next video. So if you're watching this, don't skip my next video. You owe me a view. Yeah. The thing is,
I'm subscribed to you, so yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I saw your Ouya video. That was funny. I did see that. Yeah. What'd I say? I don't think like build battles in Fortnite are inherently easier or harder than, combos in Street Fighter. I think right now I'm the Halo generation. So when I grew up, Halo 2 came out, Halo 3 came out, COD came out. This was my trajectory, and I think it's a lot of trajectory of people when I grew up and people after me. You have Genesis cartridges, so I think you're a little older than me, but let me try to explain this. So Halo, I learned Halo 2. I'm picking up these skills. I'm playing Halo 3 online. I'm picking up these skills. My Halo 3 skills transfer to Call of Duty. My Call of Duty skills transfer to Battlefield. My Battlefield skills, and then 5-10 years down the line, I have all these skills in shooting games, and I have no skills in fighting games. And I'm so entrenched in my skills in shooting games, it feels hard when I go and try to Street Fighter because there are probably some things, but there's almost nothing that transfers from Call of Duty to Street Fighter. You know what I mean? It's not that one is harder. It's that I was introduced to fighting games so late. I will never be as good as Street Fighter. It'll take me 10 years to get as good at Street Fighter as it will, a shooting game because I grew up on shooting games. So I think that's different than your generation, my dad too. Your generation, fighting games were way more like mainstream. Exactly. The fact that you even have one of those. Fighting games, like this is what I'm saying about fighting game like community. It's the same people are there. Alex Valle is still there. You know what I mean? You grew up in the arcades. The ports were, if you had a port, that's great. And then like you were able to learn the Street Fighter skill, and now that transfers to Blaze. That transfers to, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't think one is harder. I don't think one's harder than the other. I don't think there is a barrier of difficulty, but that's because we created the barrier of difficulty because we're pushing kids towards shooting games. We're pushing kids towards, we're not like grabbing kids in. So that was like my rant about that. But yeah.
Oh, I have to say something. Me, when I play shooting game online, I'm the worst shooting game player in the universe. No one is worse than me. The first time I play Call of Duty online, everyone killed me. Boom, 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 boom. And I only had one kill. It was me killing myself by accident. That's how bad I am.
That's tough. That's tough. But yeah, no.
Yeah.
I also am like, I'm talking about Valorant a lot because I'm trying it. But I'm old now. I'm 25. These kids are running circles around me. You know what I mean? Like, I just can't keep up. I'm in silver too, and I literally, like, you know, like in fighting games where you like lab and you do all that stuff and you like try to improve. I'm doing that for Valorant, and I'm like going at a snail's pace because like, you know, I don't have as much time as a kid. I don't have these skills. I don't have, you know, keyboard skills. All of my years that I said were on controller. The Halo, the Call of Duty, that's all a controller. So like there's even like little intricacies about that. But yeah.
Oh, that's right. The keyboard skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, right.
I think the thing is I hope with games like Project L coming out, like, because Street Fighter is big. It's not going to be Street Fighter. That's fine. I think we need like a huge like fighting game, 2D traditional fighting game to get kids in, because I think like if we don't, it's just going to age out. But I'm spoiling my next video. Did you have any idea, like, you know, any comments on that?
Yeah. So yeah, about that. For the controller type. I think it's going to be another barrier of entry because me, I'm a bit older than you, and then me, I grew up playing something like this. But for the life of me, I cannot play FPS on mouse and keyboard. I can kind of do okay on the controller, but mouse and keyboard, I'm not able to do that. So I guess people younger than me may, for example, people younger than me, if they play fighting game, they might have a hard time using a controller.
Yeah.
So for them, it might be like alien. But me, I can do well. I can do well with an arcade controller.
Yeah.
So I guess that might be another thing.
The thing is too, though, with that, I think controllers are getting like, I think the DualShock 5 is pretty bad for fighting games. Like, I don't like it. It's very big. I guess I have little girl hands. But like, I'm already gendered. I do it too. Little girl hands. You caught me here. Like, the DualShock 4 was really, really good. And it kind of like not everybody, but like Sonic Fox uses it. And like, there was no disadvantage of using I guess there's small disadvantages and advantages of using either, but they're in the same league, I should say. So I think that actually makes, you know, that barrier a little bit, you know, easier. But like once you are in the fighting game, like, you know, once you're in the FGC and you're playing on controller, because it was me, I was like, I need to get a fight stick. You know what I mean? It like every little mistake you do, you're like, I need a fight stick. I need a hit. You know what I mean? Do I have mine?
Yeah.
I'll have to show you mine later. But yeah. Okay. And then you say at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, you say that you want more women to play Street Fighter, but it's going to be very hard. The reason why a woman doesn't want to play Street Fighter, a lot of fighting games, is because of the biological difference between man and woman. In general, man and woman have different interests. I agree with the last part here. Men and women generally have different interests, but it is impossible to say that this interest is solely biological. This, like, have you ever heard of the Scully effect?
No.
So, like, do you know, like, the X-Files?
Yes.
So
I remember the music. I was
exactly. Yeah. They were like in memes a lot in like 2016. That's what I know it for. I actually never watched it. So, but like this gets repeated a lot. Scully from the X-Files was a doctor, and like she was also a detective, and like a lot of women in STEM credit her for popularizing science. So since the show has ended, women in STEM has increased by 35%. So like in a lot of the women in STEM, I think I saw a survey of like 2000, like 50% of them said they were, 50% of the women in STEM were X-Files viewers, and they said Scully had an
Oh,
effect on them, and Scully inspired them. So like, it's probably the case. Like I said, probably because we never know if it's biological or environmental. We can only guess. It's probably the case that the environmental factor of them being inspired by Scully changed what they wanted to do as profession. And if Scully never happened, they probably would have been working a different job. So just because
okay.
there is a difference between men and women in work or game types doesn't mean that difference is biological. Or doesn't mean that difference is solely biological. There
Okay,
could
so
be.
yeah, if it's solely biological, yes, I agree with you. So, okay, okay, so it's not only biological different, but it's biological mixed with environmental factors. The difference.
Probably, but like the percentage, I have no way of knowing the biological percentage. All I could say is I think the environmental percentage is very strong. So like another example is coding. So women, like I think before 1980, women and men used to be very used to code, like there used to be like almost equal women and men
Yeah.
in coding. There was a lot of women and men in coding. I don't know if it was almost equal, but there was a lot of women in coding. And then 1984 came, 1980s came, and personal computers started to get very popular. They were being marketed as a boy's toy.
Boy toy. Yeah, that's right.
So women started dropping out of programming because, the boy would want the computer, it would go into the boy's room, and a researcher found, like, she went to a lot of the top colleges in the country, and she interviewed, the students who were primarily male, and she asked, hey, did your sister, was she interested in computers? And they'd say, yeah, but I actually got it because it's a boy's toy. So even though there was women interested in computers at a young age, the computers were eventually put in the boys' room, and then
Okay.
more often than not, they that would push them on the trajectory to be a computer programmer, and it would push women away. So like
Yeah.
that's why I think it's very environmental.
Yeah, but I'm going to share my screen. Partage mon écran. Right. Oh, you see this graph over here? Ah, that's mine.
Oh wait, do I have to press watch stream? Oh yeah, I'm good. I can see it.
What? Do you see my screen?
Yes, I do. Yes, I
Okay.
do.
You see you see the graph? So now that I think about it, I think it's going to get easier to get more women to play in this current generation. Game like shooter or action adventure game, but probably more shooters because it's more popular. But fighting game is a niche genre currently. So there going to be two barriers of difficulty. It's going to you need to change the social conditioning of women to try to learn fighting game, like more marketing towards women. And secondly, the barrier of entry of fighting game, like is like 6%. This was made in. I took this graph like this was 5 years ago, but it's probably still relevant today. But it's only like 6% of players who are fighting game as their preferred genre. So it's going to be very tough. For example, if a game like Valorant or Call of Duty, I see it's possible to have like 50% like men and women. But a game like Street Fighter, it's going to be tough.
I do agree it's going to be tough because I think a lot of this whole sexualization is just one part of the puzzle. Let me close this stream. It's just one part of the puzzle. So if the community stays small, it will be harder to enter. So like that's why I think like targeting the children and targeting the children, without a gender bias, like the example we saw with the computers. Like I think that's why those two things are important because one, we want to keep fighting game fans like we selfishly, we don't want them to be pushed into shooter games and keep making shooter games popular and keep making fighting games less popular. We want to push them into fighting games. So that's why things like Smash is a gateway drug for a lot of people. Hopefully Project L, I'm hype about that game. But yeah, like you said, again, I think it's environmental because I think the graph you sent me before, it didn't even have fighting games on it. And tactical shooters, what was it? Tactical shooters were 4% of the female base. And right? So like Valorant's come out, and I don't know, this number sounds crazy, but the head of esports and partnerships said that Valorant has a player base that's 30 to 40% women. That's an insane, that's like a 900% increase. So like, I don't think it's something biologically happened to all these women. I think they saw Valorant, it spoke to them. They have a women's league, all of that stuff. So yeah, I think that's, and the thing is too, I don't think there's ever going to be a 50-50 gender parity about like almost anything, because like there's just too many factors. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think, like, I think that's like when you said 50-50, you thought my goal was like, women have to be set. But I'm just, I want the most players to play fighting games. I want to scalp these players from Fortnite. I don't want kids playing Fortnite. I want kids playing Street Fighter 6. So that's why I want PG mode. I want all of that stuff. But yeah.
Okay.
And the thing is too, I have another thing here. I just need to mention it. Fighting game, like the thing is, I see, before Valorant, your study, I think the study you gave me was in 2017. Before Valorant, there's CSGO, a tactical shooter, right? After Valorant, we have a tactical shooter that applies to women, and it had a 900% increase in its female to male, ratio. So I see that a shooter made a change to invite women players, and they totally broke that barrier, right? And then I see this analysis of female characters across 31 years, and fighting games have the most sexualized characters by far. So like when I see that, I see, okay, women, we weren't even on the original chart for fighting games. Cause I'm assuming we weren't big enough. They just didn't look into that one. The methodology.
Yeah, because a fighting game was not available in no short, I said, it's even more depressing than ever. My favorite genre of fighting game are not even popular to be on a chart.
Exactly. It literally wasn't popular enough. Yeah. So like that, like I see us having the most sexualized characters, our most sexualized characters per capita compared to other genres. And I see that and I'm like, like.
Especially a game like Dead or Alive. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing is too, like games like Dead or Alive, I think they've stopped making that game, unfortunately. I thought when I was a kid, I always wanted to play Dead or Alive 4, but I guess I didn't know it was inappropriate. But like games like Mortal Kombat, because this is what I'm talking about, like with the most players. If you take fatalities, if you take gore out of Mortal Kombat, there probably isn't.
No one will be paying. No. I can guarantee you, no one will be paying Mortal Kombat.
Exactly.
Or maybe far less people.
Exactly. I don't want to censor every single game just because every game should be 50-50. And no, that's not the goal. I want Street Fighter 6 seems to aim its goal towards the general audience. And I think that a PG mode.
Control.
Exactly. They have modern. There's even one. What is that? Like auto. They have like an auto combo mode. All you have to do is
this dynamic control.
Dynamic
like auto combo mode. Just press one button and they can do control. And then there's modern control, but to compensate for modern control, you have like a 20% reduction in damage.
That's
and there's
what
classic control,
okay. And the thing is too. Sorry, you go. Yeah, no. The thing is too, like with dynamic controls, like I actually was just going to get like I had a going away party like with all of my family before I came down here, and like we had Street Fighter 6 out, and we didn't get to it, but like we were planning to just play like 5-on-5. Like just dynamic controls because that's accessible to everybody. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, if we were to play 5-on-5, I'd destroy everybody if we were only playing classic controls. But if we have dynamic controls, everything's fun. It's like we're playing Smash Bros. It's accessible.
Yeah.
But yeah, I see Mortal Kombat 11 censoring its characters and selling 11 million what is it, 15 million copies, and of course they made other changes too. The game isn't just good because it got censored, but it shows me that censoring, your female characters or redesigning them isn't a deal breaker to the fans. You know what I mean? Mortal Kombat and Sonic Fox doesn't play Mortal Kombat to see Sonya Blade's MK9 outfit. That's not why Sonic Fox plays the game. He plays the game because he likes how the game plays.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I don't think like a PG mode or even like censored outfits in the MK11 way will drive away Street Fighter players, because Street Fighter players love how Street Fighter plays.
Yeah, that is true.
Well, I think that's Oh, this is the last part. I don't want to skip over it. In general, women prefer simulation games like Sim, adventure games, Zelda, puzzle games, Puyo Puyo. I could tell you're older that you put Puyo Puyo on here. And man prefers sport games, fighting games, Mortal Kombat, and action games, Streets of Rage, RPG games, Final Fantasy, party games, Mario Party, and platforming Sonic Mania are equally loved by both genders. Michael, can you re-challenge? Furthermore, women have a different interest in career choice. They are less likely to choose a career in jobs like computer science, construction worker, oil rig worker, coal miner, sewage cleanup, just like it's going to be hard to convince a woman to do these types of jobs. Men on men, 50-50, it's going to be hard to convince a woman to play Street Fighter as a man. And I think we already talked about most of that, but if you have anything to add, feel free.
Yeah. I don't have anything else to add. Oh. Yeah, so... you know, in the beginning, I was against me in general. I am against censoring game. For example, if a game is rated T or rated M or adult only, it's no use censoring because it have a appropriate age rating. But if a game is E for everyone, or in this situation, I agree with censorship. And then there's also censorship for cultural differences. For example, I think there is a Paper Mario game, a Paper Mario game where Mario's victory pose is doing the hit salute. I don't know if I can say that on YouTube.
Hey, you could say if I get taken down, I get taken down. Oh well. If it really is a problem, I'll just censor the word. I don't care.
Okay, it could be the hit salute, and then that part was been censored in the North America section. For things like that, I agree because of the because of the hit with World War II. So for things like that, I agree. So me, when it comes to video game censorship, if it's for cultural reason, I can agree. But in general, I don't like video game censorship because video game is an art, and then it's going to limit the original artist viewpoint. It's like let's say the guy who painted Mona Lisa and say no, we need to censor women with black hair, and then the Mona Lisa wouldn't be what it is today, or something like that.
Yeah, and I think sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but okay. I think that your rating system in Canada might be better than ours in America, because ours is very, very, very vague. And there are some games that are T for teen that probably, like I said in the video, Fortnite is T for teen and Street Fighter is T for teen. And I think these are I think if your mom is watching you play Fortnite, she's probably fine. There's some things a mom will see in Street Fighter where she's totally not going to be okay with. I think depending on what, on the back of the box it says all these things, but I don't think parents really look at that, or else they wouldn't be buying their kid GTA. You know what I mean? So and
that's how I got away with having this as a kid.
Yeah. But I didn't mean to continue if you have anything. And also about censorship, I don't like censorship if you're censoring the artist. So I don't want the government to say, oh, Street Fighter 6, you need to appeal to kids. Here's some stuff that's illegal in America, but here's something. Actually, they could probably get away with it in a way. Doesn't matter. But I don't want the government. I don't want ESRB. I don't want that types of censorship in my games. but I'm okay with Capcom going, should we change this to sell more copies? Yeah, we should. I'm okay with that change. I'm okay with them making the decision. I don't want
Okay,
somebody
yes.
else making the decision.
Yes, yes, yes. That's a very, very important. That's a very important distinction, because I thought you wanted like someone else changing Capcom, but if it's Capcom internally making that change, for example, if Capcom decide to make their own version of PG mode, and then they have uncensored version for those who want to play it, and then the PG mode, I this for this I'm 100% agree with it.
Yeah.
Oh, and then the other thing I wanted, the other example is, for example, do you know the movie Terminator 2?
I have not watched
Oh,
any movies. The thing I know about Terminator 2 is that Arnold Schwarzenegger is a good guy this time.
yes.
That's all I know. And he gets
Okay,
melted
yeah.
at the end.
Okay, yeah. But for example, imagine if we censor gun violence in Terminator 2, because I think the movie is rated T14, uh, or something like that. I don't remember.
Whatever the movie equivalent is probably
Yeah,
some like
something like that.
PG-13 or something, or PG.
Yeah. So the Terminator 1's weapon is using a huge gun to fight the enemy. Terminator with no gun, it will be like playing first-person shooter with no gun, like punching.
Exactly.
First-person punching. It will be so weird.
Yeah.
That was the other example of censorship. Oh, and then there's also the other censorship that I'm against. Do you know the game Skullgirls? I believe you talk about that in your video.
Yeah.
For example, Skullgirls, for example, if they want to desexualize girls in future game, I have no issue with that. But if they have to retroactively change digital content that play a bot, this I'm against that.
Yeah. And I specifically said this in like the later part of my video. Like I say, since Street Fighter 6 is already out, I don't want any of the costumes taken out. But like when I have the Skullgirls section, it's just to show that whatchamacallit? It's just to show that gamers really didn't care. You know, the players still played. But
Yeah.
in principle, if you pay for something, it really, it's weird because this is going to have a caveat and I'm going to explain it later. Like if you buy something as clear cut as like an art book, I think that's what they took the art out. It was like a collectible art book.
Yeah, an art book. This.
You shouldn't, that's something you don't expect changes. You bought that thing and you don't expect any changes to it.
For example, my comic book of Mega Man, and then Capcom employee go to my door. Hey, Hardmancanada, come here. We're going to remove all the gun. Boom, boom, boom. We're going to remove all the gun. Boom, boom, boom. And then here they remove like half the page of my comic book. I say, I pay for this. That's how I feel.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. There are things we pay for and we expect it to change, so it's okay. So when I buy Street Fighter 6 on launch, and Street Fighter 6 isn't going to play the same way in 2 years. They're going to add a whole bunch of patches. They're probably going to change. That is an expected change. I expect Street Fighter 6 to change. It's not going to be the same game, but you don't really expect the art book to change. I'm okay with the changes they made, but you probably, in principle, should not be taking away something that somebody else bought. I don't like the stuff, like, you know, everything they took out, and like I'm okay with it, but because like it was I didn't know Skullgirls was that weird. I watched like a before and after, but like you said, people, there should be an amended version. This is the best case scenario. You say, hey, what is in the old art book that does not reflect our values anymore, so we're going to make a new art book. To get the old art book, you have to go into settings and click archived art book. That probably should have been what happened. So you could say, hey, we don't like this stuff anymore. We think this stuff is bad. But for people who bought the original and want to see armbands or whatever, it's your money. There you go. But the thing is, this is digital content. I'm spoiling another video of mine. When we buy digital content, we're screwing ourselves. But
yeah, that's why I have the physical version of the PS5, and that's why as much as possible, I buy physical copy for my PS5 game. But technically, PS5 is just a license, a physical license to play the game because you download the game. So technically, all the games are digital.
Yeah.
So 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 all the current generation console, we are all kind of screwed because they can actively remove things, just like they did in Schoolgirl. So we don't have control. But the true physical copy, like this, on a cartridge, no internet, impossible to remove. They will never ever remove Blood and Fatality from this game.
Yeah.
Never, ever, ever.
But like you said, now PS5 when you put a disc in, it depends. It depends. Some games require you to connect to internet, right? Like Battlefield 6. It depends on how online your game is, really.
Yeah, that's true.
But yeah. I think that's all I had. I think this is a super good conversation though.
Yeah. That's all I had. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was I think see the thing is I think like most people agree or disagree. I think that if there was a thing to disagree on with me on, it's the fact that people think one, either people would be driven away by PG mode. I don't think that's the case. Or two, that they think like we've done all we can. There's not that much woman left to get, or there's not much we could do, or we shouldn't be catering to these people. We shouldn't be compromising to them. But yeah, no, I think like what I've said today is, I don't want to say they all have merit because there's no number of women or children. I can't say if you make this change, you're going to get 10,000 kids or 10,000. I can't, there's nothing I could do to point to that, but maybe Capcom will see my video and they'll say, hey, PG mode's good. That sounds great. But maybe they'll see it and they say, hey, that's stupid. We're never going to do it. I'm just putting my ideas out there.
Yeah. So yeah, so now I like your idea of PG mode because it reminds me of Mortal Kombat that had an unofficial PG mode. That's perfect.
Wait, do you? This might be just an American thing. Do you know the Sega case when Sega versus Nintendo when they fought about Mortal Kombat?
Yes.
Okay, I was going to say I didn't know if that was just a American thing, but yeah, that's what made our rating system.
Yes. Yes, and then that invented the R rating system. That's why Mortal Kombat have M for mature.
Yeah.
I give what it is.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's it.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Super good conversation. Of course, I'll be a man of my word and add the or do you speak Canadian at the end of this? All right. Right. It's a good convo. Keep in touch. If you have any thoughts, definitely leave them in the comments. Or just, we have Discord now, just DM me. But yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, can I make a final, final goodbye to to the audience?
Yeah, and also too, if you want, are you recording?
No, I'm not recording. So I will let you recording.
If you want this video, you could ask me and I can find a way to send it to you. Maybe if you want to post it, you can. That's what I'm trying to say. If you want to post it, you can. Okay. It was a good convo. It shouldn't be just my content. You came here and talked too. So just either rip it from my channel. I don't care. Or that's probably the easiest way. Just rip it from my channel.
Yeah, but you give me. Yeah, you see, this is a recording that he gave me permission. So YouTube, do not send the FBI on me.
I'm cutting that out, and I'm copyright claiming you. Just kidding.
Okay. Let's see. Bye, everyone. Everyone, subscribe to Token's channel, but do not subscribe to my channel. Do not subscribe to my channel if you love my content. This is not reverse psychology.
That was not reverse psychology.
I'm from Quebec, Canada. I'm a French Canadian.
Gotcha. So your first language is Canadian? Wow. See, that's definitely getting cut. Yeah!